Hi, I see some students in the audience today, and I want to plead to you, please do not blame us for not having a meaningful classroom experience. We are trying our best. And so a classroom just isn't set up to be a meaningful experience. It's set up for me to transfer knowledge to you, to transfer skills to you. Meaning is something that is really hard to measure, and it really takes a very long time. But we're trying. We're trying to make your classroom experience more meaningful. And to do so, usually we have to invite the community into the classroom. So we'll invite into the classroom stakeholders or policymakers to give you some idea of whether or not your project would work in practice and give you some feedback on your work in general, but that feedback tends to be less than critical, and you still really can't measure whether or not your project would be impactful in the real world. And it's kind of naive of me to think that I could create that experience in the classroom, because from my own experience developing a project, it takes a really long time. I started my PhD in 2012, and in 2019, I'm just getting feedback now from the government. So I tried to develop bike lanes in large cities, and it took me 7 years before someone contacted me with some interest in using my work. Now, what if we set up the classroom differently, and we, instead of inviting the community into the classroom, we connected the classroom to a virtual community? Well, in the midst of all this chaos, a few things would happen. One, instead of creating projects, we would create products. And so here's some of our products that we've created. These products are data visualizations, where we take data and we turn it into insights or information. And then we give those insights and information to a virtual community. So this virtual community is called Our Data is Beautiful, and it's a Reddit community of over 13.6 million individuals. Two advantages of connecting with the virtual community is, one, we can measure meaning, we can measure impact, and two, the feedbacks can be critical, and they come from a much wider community. The advantage of measuring impact right away in a way that is instantaneous for the student is something that we do almost every day. We create photographs, we create opinions on Facebook or on Instagram, and we get instant feedback. We get instant acknowledgement on the impact that that creates in the virtual community. And that drives us to do more creative things, to do more unique things, to come up with more unique opinions or photographs. And instead of coming up with more photographs, taking better selfies, what if we could use that same acknowledgement in order to come up with better data visualizations, more unique or creative insights? And these learning products get real feedback. The internet reduces the friction of geography. So a student in my class can come up with a data visualization about the Middle East and instantly connect with someone in Saudi Arabia who is talking about it on the ground. We can connect with our own communities and different people in our communities that we wouldn't normally run into. So if we're asking whether things were different 10 years ago, instead of asking our classmates or asking me, your professor, we can ask people across all generations very close to home. And I don't need to be an expert in everything anymore, but I can help facilitate the expertise by connecting my classroom to the virtual community. So if a student is interested in fast fashion, she can connect with a fashion designer somewhere out in the wider world. And it allows our learning products to fail. If our projects fail, well, then you get a failing grade. If our products fail, well, then we can get better. And so your products should fail. Your learning products should fail initially. And over time, you should see some success. And some of these successes are even successes wider than I could ever imagine. And so connecting with some technical wizards online, some of my students created this amazing visualization. This is my favorite learning product. And it's one that is really meaningful, and it doesn't need any upvotes or downvotes or likes to measure as far as meaning goes. One of my students, with her boyfriend, captured each day's happiness over the course of 49 different days and turned it into a visualization that was incredibly meaningful for her. And that's what crafting a learning product allows rather than a learning project. This becomes a team-based environment. And as an educator, it's the one thing that I was missing. So I come from a background of athletics and startup businesses, and I was always part of a team, and I could measure how we grew as a team based on our product, based on the product that we put on the field, or based on the product we put in the marketplace. I could measure how we grew together. And so as an educator, I'm a catalyst for your growth. And as a catalyst for growth, it's difficult to measure my impact versus the impact of everyone else who is catalyst for your growth and the growth that you find in yourself. And because of that, I needed a way not to be a catalyst for growth, but to be a part of your growth. And so here is me with my team as a part of their growth. And when one of our products did well, I would feel a sense of pride. And that sense of pride would drive me to do more than most educators do. I would wake up early. I would stay up late, measuring, I would evaluate our products over time. How does this save higher education? Well, the input of a great product, of a great professor, only scales as the classroom gets larger. And so this is the importance of having these massive open online courses, is that that great product coming from that great professor gets the opportunity to scale. But I want to tell you here today that the product of a great classroom can also scale if you put it out to the wider digital community. So if you have a great learning product, you can identify online communities and allow that product to scale in ways you could never imagine in a closed classroom. And that ability to scale a product and measure its success or failure, that creates competition in a classroom, but it creates competition that's healthy. By creating competition around a learning product rather than a project, rather than a student's competency or capacity to learn, it actually feeds into a team mentality where we start to teach each other. And the competition is healthy. We celebrate each other's success. And if we see someone whose product has failed, we help them. We help them succeed. And this allows the learning environment itself within the classroom to scale as well. And so in our classroom, we've connected to all of these different tools for learning, all of these different online communities, and all of these different marketplaces for our learning products. And so I'm very proud to be a part of this team, crafting learning products. And this is my team, USP Labs 2019, creating karma chemistry for years to come. Thank you so much.